How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, we have got a buzz on this incident up here in fake ass liberal San Francisco, the very place that I was raised, the very place that I graduated from high school. So I know San Francisco, or basically the Bay Area, like the back of my hand. And so this exposes how racist to the core San Francisco is. And also, we know white supremacists work on ScrewTube. So what I'm going to present to the royal family, the word that I'm going to use is casting doubt. Please pay attention to every word you hear in this, and how the enemy and the enemy supporters, you're going to see a supporter of the enemy work to uphold this rotten ass system. And so now we are supposed to have sympathy for someone that we already know what they is. We already know what we felt. I often say to the royal family, we are in empaths. We feel energy. And we don't know how to shut it off. That's why we have empathy for people's pain and plight. And that is one of the things that have gotten us in the situation that we are in now, because we overall are peaceful people. We in a true war. And some of our folks don't fully realize we in a war. And the things that I'm going to present to the royal family, because it was beautiful how the brother had responded to this bullshit. But once he got put back on the world stage and was in a more controlling setting, and you can clearly see that this brother is traumatized. I'm learning some things, more things about the royal family that has nothing to do with being weak. That it's energy. I'm talking strictly energy that run this demonic energy that continues to be projected on us. I have literally seen my husband. He is the rock in our family. This man is nobody's joke. Tears come from his eyes, and that's releasing energy. Because the black man has to put himself in a position where he doesn't lose his life. And I don't know what it takes for a black man to continue to see the enemy and the enemy supporters play games before they face. And they have to do the thinking for themselves, and also for these fools that fuck with us. And then he's seeing his family being brutalized. I'm feeling something quite different, and it's very deep to me, my royal family. I'm full of emotions right now because retrograde is really affecting me. You know, y'all get all my emotions. I'm angry today. I ain't playing today. And I'm really an extreme. I'm an extremist. I'm really serious. And I'm trying my best to have a balance. But to keep me in that safe place, I go back to being extreme. So you see that this video is long, but it's necessary. And it's all broke down just the way I like it, so I can interject after each video. Again, pay attention. Casting doubt.
Pass trespasser in my building.
That's part of the video that lots of you are talking about tonight. A Bay Area father calls 911 to report a black software engineer who he says is trespassing in his building, while his young son pleads with him to stop. Tonight, both sides are telling their story.
And there's an unexpected twist to all this. KPIX5's Veronica De La Cruz is here to tell us what happened. Veronica.
Liz and Ken, it all began when a father leaving with his son on the 4th of July thought another man, Wesley Michelle, was trying to slip into his building behind him in San Francisco. Michelle started recording, and you see the father, Christopher Cooker, calling 911 after Michelle refused to prove that he had a friend upstairs, while his son begged him to leave Michelle alone.
I agree with him, Daddy. It's the better. Let's go.
Cooker ends the call with police when Michelle's friend shows up outside. And this is what Michelle had to say on CNN tonight.
My responsibility is not to make everyone around me feel comfortable. And it's very important that people understand that. I should be able to walk around freely and not feel that I should constantly prove that I'm not a threat to the people around me.
Michelle posted the video to Facebook, and it's been viewed now more than 1 million times, generating a huge backlash. But tonight, the father says the video doesn't tell the whole story. In a web post tonight, Cooker apologized, writing, quote, "Unfortunately, there is a terrible pattern of people calling the authorities for no other reason than their race. The last thing I ever intended was to echo that history, and I'm sorry my actions caused Wesley to feel unfairly targeted due to his race." And Cooker says what led to this moment was the horrifying murder of his father, Peter, in 2012 outside his home in the Berkeley Hills. A mentally ill man walked into his driveway after calling police, who failed to show up. Cooker's father confronted the man and then was beaten to death with a flower pot in front of his wife. Now tonight, Michelle countered, saying past experiences should never color how we see others. And by the way, police did respond to that trespassing call, but left when they determined no crime had been committed. Ken and Liz.
All right, both sides.
Okay, so some of what she's saying ain't true at all, because what I'm about to present to the royal family, she don't know what the fuck she talking about. And I'm going to prove to the royal family how racist this dude is, and a fucking liar. He bit off more than he could chew. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it, and I'm glad that these videos was broke down in such a way so I can interject again. This guy is a liar. He has done this shit before, and you're going to hear what actually happened. And I'm fucking pissed off with these fucking games that they play with the royal family. Again, casting doubt.
Okay, it is the video that everyone is talking about. A young boy pleading with his father not to call the police on a black man trying to visit a friend in his building. In a moment, I'm going to talk to the man who was stopped and who caught the whole thing on camera. But first, CNN's Stephanie Elam sets the scene for us.
Despite pleas from his young son,
I'm going to call the police right now.
Oh, yes, call the police.
this man called the San Francisco police on another man when he wouldn't identify the resident he was visiting.
Sir, I'll hold the door here for you while
That
you
is
call your
okay.
friend.
Nobody's asking you to hold the door. You can do whatever you want. But I'm recording you right now, and you're going to be the next person. Look at this.
You don't need to threaten me. You just need
I'm
to
not
get
threatening
out
you.
of it. You are.
I'm not threatening
You're
you.
going to be the next person what?
You're just going to be the next person on TV.
On the phone with police, the resident calls the man a trespasser. His son sounds distraught.
Yeah, there's a trespasser in my building.
Daddy,
He's,
please go.
Listen to your son.
Daddy, go. It's the better. I agree with him, Dad.
Okay, what we got going? Damn ass commercial. I didn't know that was gonna pop up. Whew. I guess they gotta get their coins. Here we go.
It's the better. Let's go.
That man we now know is Christopher Kukor. And tonight he's speaking out about the encounter on Medium, writing, "A chance encounter this past weekend has upended my life in unexpected ways. Many of you know the parts that you've seen, the video of a conversation that happened outside my home. I'd like to share some extra details about the event that I think add some important context." In the video, Kukor is heard telling police that the man walked in through the usually locked door as he and his son were walking out, a practice the man refers to as tailgating.
He tailgated to the door as I left. He walked in.
I tailgated to the door.
He appears to be African American.
Appears to be African American.
I don't know, 30s.
35, software engineer.
Pink polo shirt and a Yankees cap.
All good, all good. Software engineer, brother.
Yep.
Pink polo shirt, yeah, and tennis shoes, jeans, yeah. You had to be here for when they called him.
He's filming me and refusing to leave. He's saying I'm going to be the next person on TV.
The man filming the encounter is black. Wesley Michelle is a San Francisco-based software engineer. In a statement to CNN, Michelle said, quote, "I'm taken aback by the support that I've received in the last few days and how quickly my experience has been shared. Unfortunately, this incident mirrors the experience that African Americans endure daily, where we are questioned on whether we belong."
He said he's waiting for a friend, and I asked him to dial in the call box, and he said he would not. So I have no way to know if his friend is actually here.
Yeah, so I'm here to just rob whatever. A mailbox?
I'm just asking you for your friend's name.
I don't know. I don't have to tell you.
But Kukor says he wasn't motivated to say something because of Michelle's race, writing, "First, just some background on that day. I was leaving my building with my child to take him to a friend's house. Like many in San Francisco, I live in a building with a security call box, and residents in the building count on that security measure. I noticed Wesley Michelle caught the door and entered the building without using the call box. I did what came naturally and asked where he was going. I want to be clear on this point. This is something I do regularly, regardless of who the other person is."
No, he's not on. He's
Let's go.
Listen to your son. Walk away. I will stop this.
Yeah,
I'll stop the recording.
I agree.
Yeah, please.
Let's go, Daddy. Let's go now.
In his post, Kukor explains his actions, writing, "I offered to hold the door open while he used the call box to contact his friend. As I learned later, Wesley was a friend of a guest of a resident in the building. The building resident was not expecting Wesley. When the encounter turned confrontational and I couldn't resolve it myself, I called the police. Eventually, Michelle's friend does arrive, to the relief of the boy."
Hi, Kathy.
Told you.
I love you, baby.
Go now.
It took you so long to get here.
Daddy, look what you've gotten us into. Let's go.
My friend is handicapped. Just give me 1 second while you being in front of your kid. Okay? Remember, I'm recording you. I'm recording you.
As the incident escalated, Michelle decided to record it, telling CNN, quote, "I videotaped this incident to protect myself and to support my story should police get involved. In fact, I was vindicated when the police arrived by showing them this video. I could never have imagined how quickly my desire to protect myself would unfold."
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, he's actually here.
Yeah, he's actually here. Yeah, go ahead. I'm recording you.
He refused to identify.
No.
me.
Yeah.
And now
Look
he's
at you.
filming
Look at you.
me.
Look at you.
With a few days since the incident, Kukor acknowledges how both men arrived at the moment armored with their different realities. He writes, "Here's where the complexity begins. I was coming into this situation with my unique history. My father was murdered outside his home by a trespasser who he confronted alone. For my child's safety, my safety, and that of the building, I felt it was necessary to get help in this situation. Furthermore, I've encountered trespassers in my building, and we've been robbed several times. This is not uncommon in San Francisco, and the bad actors are all different colors. I now realize that Wesley was reacting based on his unique history as well. Unfortunately, there is a terrible pattern of people calling the authorities regarding people of color for no other reason than their race. The last thing I ever intended was to echo that history, and I'm sorry my actions caused Wesley to feel unfairly targeted due to his race. I believe people are good at heart. It's our past experiences and fears that cloud even our best intentions. I hope Wesley will read this and understand my history as I have tried to understand his.
Take your phone away from me.
If you touch me, I'll
Take your phone. Take your phone away.
For his part, Michelle also said, quote, I believe that ultimately everyone wants to be seen for who they are and not prejudged. I am an American, a brother, a son, and an ambitious engineer who loves to code and wants to greatly contribute to the tech world in SF, a city that I love. All of
Oops, wait a minute. Excuse
this
me.
playing out in a video that went viral with more than 1.5 million views.
Okay, my Royal family. So before we get into the next video, let's see here. Oh, over here. So his bargaining chip is his father's death. So when I played the first video, they said that his father confronted some deranged dude and he beat him to death. But at first, they made it sound like that his father was basically mugged. See, we got to really make sure we get these stories clear. He know he fucked up. And he's so low down, he's telling who he is that he would use the death of his father. Because he know he fucked up. He know it. So that's what you're going to use. And so people got to have sympathy. And then you talk about some damn unique history. What is happening to us in this motherfucking cesspool is not unique. It is common. It happens every millisecond. All I know is pure ass evil from the enemy. And we felt that. I felt your child when I talk about us being those empaths. You feeling stuff and we can't stop what we feel. We felt him being gleeful and smirking. And as I was reading different comments, people were saying things that I was thinking. They said, he done this before. He a damn fool. He's arrogant. He thinks he's superior. I don't think I'm superior. I know it. The royal family is brilliant. Don't ever think you be royal, and you don't let people cast doubt in your psyche. So these next two videos that I'm going to present to the royal family gonna piss you off. That's why you hearing me speaking the way that I spoke. Because when I heard this bullshit last night from Don Lemon's ass, because he's one of the supporters, and he feeling some kind of way because this dude's father then got killed, but you don't feel that kind of way about your own. You play that game straddling the fence. Because we done seen Don Lemon show his candy ass. We know what time it is. And then when you speak truth on what is abomination in the word, then we homophobic. You ain't gonna use that on me. I keep it real core. Real core. I'm gonna touch you in such a way I want to piss you off. Because I know these fucking peasants is over here. I'm controlling you. You're dealing with royalty. So you stay your peasant ass over here and get this ass kicking. Can you feel it? Because it's sweet dragging you and exposing you the core of your evil ass.
Kukar to come on the show tonight. He politely declined and indicated that he'd made his perspective known on the blog post, and we've just shared with you in Stephanie's piece right there. Now I want to bring in Wesley Michelle, the man who filmed that tense encounter. Wesley, thank you. Man, it's a complicated story. We appreciate you joining us. The man who called the police on you, Christopher Cooker, writing in that Medium post, you saw it, he wrote it today, about his past experiences. What do you think of his explanation for why he acted that way?
Right. It's a very good assessment. I can understand that he's been traumatized. It's very, very difficult to try to communicate based on his past experiences. Personally, as an African-American male, I've been stopped and harassed at stores, different locations. I would have police officers asking me if I belonged there. Or even in my apartment complex, I would have people randomly tell me that I don't belong at that location. So, but I don't let those experiences shape or define the way I see other people. And I feel that, as a group, or even just with his experiences, it's very important that people take those experiences and they learn from them, but not to impose those ideas and that sensitivity amongst people you don't know. And it's very important, too, to just basically say that as a human being, it's very important that my responsibility.
Go on.
My responsibility is not to make everyone around me feel comfortable. And it's very important that people understand that. I should be able to walk around freely and not feel that I should constantly prove that I'm not a threat to the people around me.
So, out of all, we have had Permit Patty, and you've seen all the videos of people calling police. This is a pretty thoughtful explanation that you usually don't get. And you said you would hope that he would learn from that. Do you think that he's learned anything? Because as I'm sitting here listening to both your stories, I have to be honest. Both of you, in a sense, can be right, and both of you, in a sense, can be wrong, because we all have our shared experiences. I'm not saying that it's right that he called police on you, and I'm not saying that it's right the way that you reacted as well, because I live in a building, and if someone tried to come in, I wouldn't let them in the building unless they had permission to come into the building, regardless of what race they are or what gender they are. But I understand, because I live in this skin as a black man, that people often see you as a threat when you're not. So it's odd, but I kind of understand both sides. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's actually a very good point. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Reading the articles that's been written about me and the way that people perceive the video, I can understand how people may have come to the conclusion that I randomly tried to get inside the apartment. The truth is, both parties knew that I was attending at that location. That's the truth. The second thing, I actually tried buzzing myself in.
Both parties knew you were attending, who were?
Attending this barbecue party.
Okay.
The second thing is,
He knew you were, what do you mean by both parties? I just want to make sure we have that straight for clarification.
Right. So he said that he later spoke to someone in the apartment building that was throwing the party,
okay.
And said that I was not invited into that barbecue. What I'm saying is that is incorrect, actually. I was invited into that party. And the second thing I will tell you is I actually tried buzzing myself in while waiting for my friend to come out. So I wasn't just standing there, and there should be video of that. As I'm buzzing myself to get in, I see him come out. He's in the building, he's coming out. So I figured I could just run inside and wait, I should say, wait for my friend to actually come in. As I'm walking inside, he asked me questions like who I'm here to visit with. So I basically said I'm here waiting for my friend. And he then decided to tell me to buzz the person that I was previously trying to buzz to come downstairs. It's an experience that actually has touched me, and I think that's one of the reasons why I saw this situation differently, because as this had happened to me in the beginning, in prior times, I've never actually recorded the situation. When he told me he was going to call the police the first time, I decided to pull my phone, and I realized that this situation, I was going to need to prove that whatever this guy tells the police, I would have to prove my side, and the only way I could do that is through taping. So I had to protect myself.
Because you thought when the police got there, they may have thought that you were trying to break into the building. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, what we got here? let's see. Okay, that was, let me stop. Okay. Let's slow
He
down.
acknowledged that the way that
Wait a
many.
minute. Okay, let me slow down and make sure that I have everything right, because I had it set up. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I wanted to make sure. So, before we go into the third video, we clearly heard what this brother said, what actually happened. And this racist motherfucker, now he's, you know, the authority figure, and he's questioning people in the complex because it wasn't a good look. So this is where it gets deeper, the dirt that he did. Oh, it's gonna get real deep, because usually when I show the last video of my royal family, that bonus video of my royal family, juicy.
Black people are treated in this country, saying that he didn't mean to make you feel targeted because of your race. Do you accept that apology?
Quite honestly, I feel like a lot of people may see that on TV, there's a difference of seeing something and actually experiencing something. You can't quite understand the feeling that it feels like to be African American and have someone tell the police officer that this person has just now threatened you. In fact, the police did arrive at that location, and this is something that a lot of people aren't aware of. And him and his son were there in a corner, and they were shaking, and he kept screaming that this man threatened my life, my son and my life. I put my hands up, and I had my phone in my hand, and I said, officers, everything you need to see is right here. The video was 3 minutes and 15 seconds long. It took 4 minutes for them to go through the video and tell me, hey, listen, there's nothing here.
Why would he say that you threatened his life? From what I saw in the video, it didn't seem like you were threatening.
This is one thing that a lot of people don't understand. And it's very important that I mention it here. And this is also one of the reasons why I recorded it in the first place.
Listen, I got to tell you that I understand, because I was involved in something similar, but it was a racial profiling incident. And when the cops came, they thought that someone else called police on me when I actually called the police. So I understand your feeling on that. But, just the part about living in a building and the safety and security, again, I'm not sure if I would have let you in, but maybe if it was a woman with a child, maybe I would have let him in. I don't know. I don't know. That's a real tough one to answer. And the fact that he let somebody else in who was of a different race, unconscious bias, that it's real. Do you think that this could have been resolved differently?
Okay, let me stop. Let's stop right there for a minute, for a second, Phil. Don Lemon, talking about unconscious bias. This evil motherfucker is very conscious in what he is doing. He didn't want that black man in that building, and we already know it, but he allowed someone else to go in that building. And then he lied to the police and said, basically, they use that same old shit. Either I fear for my life, or you threaten my life. He lied. He lied. Straight up lied. Oh, you're going to hear some more lies. Oh, it gets much, much deeper.
Now that you look back on it?
Oh, wow. That's actually a very interesting question. Multiple times I've tried to de-escalate the situation. By telling him that, it's totally fine. I'm standing outside. I'm not too sure if people realize this, but I'm actually standing right there. So I'm no threat to him, I'm not running away. I'm not running inside of the building.
But you could have walked away and waited.
I could have.
Or he could have walked away. He could have just walked away and said, because you were outside, once you were in the vestibule, you walked out of the building, and so you didn't access the building, so he could have walked away.
Right, and people also have to understand that these the building requires a fob to get upstairs in the elevator and to get inside. So there's no, and that's why I mentioned, what would I rob? The mailbox, you know, because it was, at this point, it was just getting ridiculous.
Do you, would you?
So pay attention. A key fob. The first time we ever heard of this is with that Botham Jeans murder. And then it turned out that Lisa Cabrera, you know a lot about key fobs. So as far as he could go was just the lobby. You got to have that key fob even to access the elevator. So make that perfectly clear. So how far can he go?
Would you ever be interested in sitting down and talking to someone like Christopher, even after this?
Well, the thing is, I've actually, prior to uploading the video, I actually tried to reason. I went downstairs, and his wife was there, and she was clearly upset. She was raising her voice, and I was calm the entire time. And I kept showing her the video. I said, hey, take a look at this video, and you'll understand, because she kept screaming that I traumatized her son. And then it was then that I realized that it's always going to be my words versus his. And I did have the opportunity to sit down, but I realized that I couldn't get if he was willing to tell the police that I was threatening his life, I couldn't sit down with Christopher specifically on the subject, because I'm not too sure exactly any other fabrication that would come out of his mouth about.
So you hear what I'm saying, my royal family? This lying racist to the motherfucking core beast went to his wife and lied because he knew his ass was in trouble. He finally got busted for his behavior. This, like I said, this ain't the first time he done pulled this shit around his son. So he knew this shit was gonna be every damn where. So he go run to her and go fabricate some stuff and got the little boy upset, got his wife all upset, and you know how they think of black folks, just our sheer existence piss off people. This dude is disingenuous, and then he wants us to feel some kind of way because his father got killed. It show you how low a motherfucker can go.
About our encounter.
Boy, I asked you that because there are two different realities here. I completely, don't get me wrong, part of my job here is to challenge, right? To challenge you and to play devil's advocate and to try to see what he was seeing and what you were seeing. But I live in the same skin as you, and so I understand the frustration, especially for men of color who are often seen as more violent and more aggressive and those sorts of things, and often seen as the aggressor. I also understand the safety, being responsible for the safety of people you live with, right? So that's why I asked you if you would ever consider sitting down to talk with them, because there's no, how do you work this out? How do you work out those two different realities that you both share and you both live in the same city with, in the same America?
Right. I think that a conversation should be had. And I think I guess my question to you is, what would be obtained from that conversation? What would we learn from that conversation? Because what I gained from that conversation is really important. I live in San Francisco. Growing up, I lived in the suburbs. I've had police officers pull me over. I've had one cop actually had his boots on my twin's chest because he said that he didn't actually belong there. He said that didn't, and we were right in front of our house. But I interact with police officers all the time. So for someone to actually, for someone to say that, and I apologize that, something as gruesome has happened to his father, it also shows that
Did
he
you
wasn't
apologize?
really
Again?
willing.
Say again.
That because of the death of his father.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's surrounded with the fact that he had to have interaction with other minorities or other black people in his life, and to still treat me that way, shows me that he hasn't actually evolved from that. So he is still hurt from that. And I think diversity training. Diversity training is
Well, look,
so important.
it's not upon you. Listen, I think that you said right from the beginning. You said it's not up to you to make other people feel comfortable, and you're absolutely right about that. I was just wondering if you would ever. And when you said what would accomplish, I don't know, but I think you might get an understanding of each other, but maybe that's not what you want. I know that you were nervous before coming on. Is there anything that you want to say that you wish you had said during this interview? Because I think you've conducted yourself very well. Is there anything else?
Thank you. I appreciate that. In regards to when people call police officers, I think that one of the things that I will, it's very, very important for people to understand. When you call a police officer on an African-American male, it's completely different than someone calling a police officer on someone else, because to me, that's a death threat. That could be I could literally die from that altercation. And I would just simply be another hashtag in the news or on Twitter. And it's important that people understand that. But when people, like you saw in the Barbecue Betty, and when I had mentioned those situations, I was trying to explain to them, I was trying to convey that there's this false sense of entitlement. There's this false sense of this belongs to us, and if you don't follow my rules, I will call the law to enforce those ideas. I think actually because you've actually mentioned that, I think that I would entertain the idea, but for the past few days, as you can imagine, it's been very stressful. Listening to comments online and literally trying to keep myself better. But I think over some time we should be able to have a communication.
Well, listen, again, thank you. And the only way, this is a tough conversation, I mean, even for us to have as 2 men of color, but I think that we have to do this. And I know exactly what you mean when you say that this is mine, that somehow he placed himself in a position of authority over you that is not warranted or deserved. I completely get it. Happens to me all the time. And my question is, who do you think you are? I always say, who do you think you are to do that?
Absolutely.
So I want to leave it there. So my royal family, I did not like the fucking game that Don Lemon was playing with this dude. He a black man. He know how the enemy get down. And to sit up there and cast doubt, because this brother felt what he went through in his past experiences. And then he start, casting doubt, waffling. Oh, wow. Well, we can have a conversation. There ain't no motherfucking conversations. This guy lied on you. He lied on you to the cops. If he was with a crazy ass cop, you could have been dead. This could have been a deadly situation. This shit ain't no damn fun and games. We got to realize what we are dealing with in this system. We really do. And then the thing that gets me is they the one to project this evil shit on us, and then when they get busted wide open, then we are the ones that's supposed to be the peacemakers and forgive and be very understanding, and we can have a conversation. You don't have a conversation with the enemy at all. Like I said, even on this channel, because the other day some of y'all on this channel was speaking with the enemy, and I said, okay, some people is new, so I'm gonna cut them a break, and I just got rid of them. I'm not fucking playing on this channel. Don't you talk to these motherfuckers. I don't care how long you've been here. I will get your ass up off of here. I don't associate with peasants. This shit is real with me. Very, very real with me. I ain't just come up with royal family just to stroke us. That came from my soul. Our Father gave me this. And you don't let the enemy and the enemy supporters cast doubt in you after you have had an experience. And then the dude is backtracking and I don't know and all that. Said, fuck all of that. You know what you felt. You know what he did. You know, then he runs to his wife and lie on him. You know, and then probably what he did to this little boy here, he probably told him some old fantastic story like you don't quite understand what, you know, what's going on and blah, 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 blah. That child know exactly what's going on. And when he get older, he ain't gonna have shit to do with him. That's gonna be his cross to bear. I have already put that in existence. You just finally got caught at yo shit. While you going around, walking around like you superior. These motherfucking peasants. We got to stop doing this. We got to stop this. When these people come up to you or these subhumans come up to you and ask you, what are you doing here? You don't say shit. Right now, I'm telling y'all what to do. You are representing first your immediate family, then you are representing the royal family, and there is a way that you conduct yourself in the public. Because if we are doing all of this backtracking and all of this shit, then they think that they can do this with all of us. That's why they act like that. I done had these situations and I dealt with they ass because my master teacher, James Alfred Newman Jr., he said, everything I'm gonna teach you, you can etch it in stone. My father is in another world, and I was a damn good student. I know these motherfuckers inside out. And my father always said, do your own thinking. And he said, if you choose to speak to them and they say, how you doing? You tell them you're excellent. That's what I taught my children. But for the most part, you don't speak to them first. You don't say shit. And when they questioning you about where you know, what you doing here, I heard all that shit last year when they were showing all them barrage of videos. I said, oh, Lord, our folks ain't getting it. They ain't getting it. You know that look we can give each other? You know that energy, them vibes that we throw off on each other? You redirect that energy, that hate-ass shit that we got towards each other and project it at the enemy. What the fuck is wrong with some of y'all around here? Yeah, I'm on one. I'm on one. I'm on one. I'm going to make sure this is the last video I'm going to do tonight because I need to go take my yellow ass and go lay down. I'm so fucking angry with stupidity, disrespect. You was chosen for a reason and you need to represent fully. I know what system we in. I'm not saying to do foolish things. You make sure you get your ass home to your family, just like the enemy. Play whatever game you gotta play, but you get your ass home. You still living. You can deal with them at another space and time. But all this bowling and scraping and who, you know, my husband will say, who the fuck you think you is? When Mr. Santana walked down the street, people get out of his way. He looked mean. You got to project that energy out. Stop holding back on these gifts that you was born with. Because you're holding up shit. And if some of y'all continue to keep holding up shit, you're going to go right where the enemy go. We know the ending of their story, and we know the beginning of our story. If you know the word. This is a war. We been won it. But you're going to continue to let the enemies win these little funked up ass battles? The art of war is all psychological. Now, my royal family, because I'm heated, I'm not trying to disrespect my family. I'm just passionate. And I'm pissed because I'm tired of this shit. I am so happy that we're getting closer and closer to coming out of our captivity, because enough is enough. This shit is draining. And this brother is sitting up here confused. I done reached out to him. I'm reaching out to this brother. We both live in the Bay Area. I want to talk to him face to face and get his mind right. You don't let nobody put you on the spot. That's like how they did months ago with our royal son, when that woman with her flat ass talking about he rubbed her, and that child was speaking to his soul. And then when they get him in a controlled environment, then he forgive the bitch? You don't do our babies like that. Because they watching us. And I watched how my father dealt with the enemy. All you hearing is my father coming up out of me. I will not fail my father. All the energy that he put into me before he passed. Oh no. No way. No. I thank you, Yah, for both of the parents that you blessed me with, because they kept me very clear about this system. I don't talk about my mother a lot. And the last thing I'll say today is my mother said, don't you beg a motherfucker for shit. Stop looking for these people to validate you. You disrespecting our father. Just think about it. So I'm going to leave it there, my royal family. I need to go chill. So, my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.